Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me, for being here. Oh, it's so nice to see so many of your names and some of your faces on the screen here. Hey, Stephanie. Hi. Oh my gosh. I know we have people who are joining in. A lot of you guys I know from the Lotus Pond in Tampa. It's so great to see you here and get to connect with you. Some of you I have never met before or practiced with before, and I know we've got actually some folks here from all over the world. So that's really, really just exciting and beautiful and lovely. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Melissa Carroll, and I have been practicing meditation since 2006. Practicing is the key word here. So, however, your meditation practice shows up for you today, that's perfect. That's exactly how it should be today. Um, it's going to arrive differently depending on the day. So, yeah, and we were talking just a few minutes before some of you joined that it is really so nice to get to connect in this way, even though, of course, we can't be together physically. Just to get to do this is really, I think, so helpful personally, but to meditate and come together collectively like this to really focus our prana and our mental attention in this positive way really amplifies the effects of the meditation as well. And as we see, it's so helpful, it's so needed more than ever now, and so today's breathwork and meditation session will focus on two of the most essential ingredients of your heart. Your heart does contain superpowers, whether you're aware of it or not, right? Your heart can hold so much, and likely for many of you, if not all of us here, these days your heart is holding a lot more. Of course, personally, many of us, our lives are in a state of deep transformation or deep turmoil that might also be disguised as stagnancy, as hibernation or stagnation. And yet within that, deep transformation is occurring. It's like when a seed gets planted, right? It doesn't seem like a lot is actually happening in human perception. We speed up the camera to show the transformation of the plant growing and thriving. For many of us, we are in this state of mind, this state of stagnancy right now. And I think this is also why when so much is transforming around us too, to have the anchor of meditation, to have the anchor of pranayama techniques is just so helpful. Thank you. Good. I'm so glad. Thank you guys. You guys are amazing. So nice to get to hang with you guys here. I will be doing more of these because why not? And it was a good excuse to brush my hair. So anyway, courage and compassion are these two ingredients in your heart. And they really are like muscles that you can strengthen. You don't have to naturally be inclined to be a compassionate person. You can cultivate compassion and courage. And I actually believe that courage needs to kind of come first. We have courage as the gateway to help us access compassion. And compassion allows us to move from the mindset of well, what about me? What's in it for me? And of course, there's going to be a lot of that mentality going on right now, because we are in a global pandemic. We are in this incredible time in history where people are deeply and rightfully concerned for their health and well-being and welfare. But compassion, which requires courage, can help us move out of that headspace, what about me, and into the headspace of, or really it's the heart space of, how can I help? What could I do? How can I be of better service? And that is also the journey from the head to the heart, one of the most important pilgrimages that we ever embark on in our lives, of course. And it's not necessarily an easy one, because so many of us, myself included, we spend a lot of time up here. It doesn't matter if you've been in quarantine for weeks already, or if you've been self-isolating already and you're feeling like you're stuck at home. Really, where most of us are actually stuck is up here. This is where we're living all the time. You could be in one of the most beautiful places on earth, but we're really always in here, right? And this is where we can use this practice today to help us get out of the busy mental chatter and down into the heart space, connecting to that great energy, the superpowers of your heart, cultivating compassion and cultivating courage for yourself and for others. And I wanted to share with you a passage from this beautiful book, Consolations by David Whyte. I know many of you are familiar with David Whyte. You're familiar with his work because if you practice yoga with me, or you did your yoga teacher training, as many of you guys on this call did today. If you did your training at the Lotus Pond, you know that we share a lot of his work. This book is just incredible, and each chapter, they're just like short little vignettes. They're just a couple of pages. Each chapter, he takes a word and he philosophizes on it. He sort of like waxes poetic about this word. So I wanted to share with you the chapter titled Courage. When we think about courage, we often just consider that cultural collective image of someone running into a burning building, which is very courageous. That takes a lot of bravery, and that does move out of the egoistic mindset of like, what's in it for me? What about me? To how can I help, right? That instinct will propel you into the burning building to save someone else. And so yes, there is that cultural collective image of courage, but David Whyte wants us to look back at the linguistic root of the word, which stems from the old French, actually, the French word for corps, which means heart. And if you are familiar, there's that famous, beautiful church in Paris called the Sacré-Cœur. Look at that, there you go. You just got a free French accent, a bad one at that, but Sacré-Cœur, the Sacred Heart, Sacré-Cœur, cœur is heart. And that's where we get the word courageous, to move from your heart, not from up here, to let your life be directed from the heart space, not from the head space so much. So yeah, oui, I know, right? And maybe I'll practice more of my French with my upcoming time. So this is David Whyte. He says, courage is the measure of our heartfelt participation with life, with another, with a community, a work, a future. To be courageous is not necessarily to go anywhere or do anything, except to make conscious those things we already feel deeply and then to live through the unending vulnerabilities of those consequences. To be courageous is to seat our feelings deeply in the body and the world. To live up to and into the necessities of relationships that often already exist, with things we find we already care deeply about, with a person, a future, a possibility in society, or with an unknown that begs us on and always has begged us on. To be courageous is to stay close to the way we are made. The French philosopher Camus used to tell himself quietly to live to the point of tears, not as a call for maudlin sentimentality, but as an invitation to the deep privilege of belonging and the way belonging affects us, shapes us, and breaks our heart at a fundamental level. It is a fundamental dynamic of human incarnation to be moved by what we feel, as if surprised by the actuality and privilege of love and affection and its possible loss. Courage is what love looks like when tested by the simple, everyday necessities of being alive. I just love that passage so much. When I woke up this morning and I was thinking about what I wanted to share with you all on this call, I went over to my bookshelf and just sort of instinctively was drawn to this book and plucked it off the shelf and read this passage right off and knew that it was so perfect for what so many of us are going through right now. Because it's not like we are necessarily running into a burning building, metaphorically, that might feel that way. But as David Whyte says, courage is what love looks like when tested by the simple everyday necessities of being alive. And that's really what it is, what we're going through, what we're experiencing. These simple everyday necessities of being alive. This is where that sense of courage can come forth and give way to greater compassion, greater care for ourselves and for others. So let's practice a little bit. Get comfortable, lengthening through your spine. We'll do a little breath work and then we'll close up with a metta meditation. Many of you I know are familiar with metta, loving kindness meditation. This is one of the most powerful exercises, one of the most powerful techniques of the heart. I often think of it like a washing machine for my heart when I know that I'm really getting caught up in the grip of worry and fear and thinking about, well, what's going to happen? What about me? What about me? I practice metta. And if you think about the vortex of heart energy, right? The chakra vibrations of heart energy, metta comes in like a washing machine and starts to clear out some of that debris, some of that dirt. Yeah. So we'll close up with a little metta, but first let's connect to your breath, to that life force that exists within you. And as we lift through the heart center, lifting through the crown of your head, just begin to roll your shoulders up and back and down a couple of times. Inhaling as the shoulders roll up. Exhaling as your shoulder blades melt down your back. We know that the breath and the body and the mind, the heart energy, they're all interwoven, they're all connected. And as we do this, you can start to notice your breath rhythm. See if you can take some deeper breaths. Eventually, in your own time, letting your shoulders relax, coming into a space of relative stillness, closing the eyes or keeping your gaze soft. As we move into Dirga breath, the long breath or three-part breath, you might find it helpful to place one hand on your low belly and place one hand on your heart, just to connect a little more concretely to the breath rhythm, connecting into the present moment. Jaw is soft. Relax across your brow and across your shoulders. Relaxed in your palms and your fingertips, down through your hips, down through your legs. Begin to breathe deeply down into the base of your lungs, creating a little softness in the belly as you inhale, and as you exhale, gently draw the navel back toward the spine, emptying. Inhale, softness. Exhale, release. Breathe deep. Imagine the breath drawing down into the bottom of the lungs. Exhale completely. Inhale, a little softness in the abdomen. Exhale, navel pulls back toward your spine. We tend to hold a lot of our emotions, a lot of our creative energy is stored in the belly. This is why we often say things like, oh, I felt it in my gut. That is physiologically true and energetically true. So as we breathe deeply, softening the belly as you inhale, exhaling, emptying, we're soothing this space within ourselves. Inviting in a little nurturance, a little care for yourself. Feeling grounded and rooted through the belly, the hips, the legs. As you now move your awareness to the second part of Dirga breath, into your solar plexus. You might even bring both hands gently to rest on your solar plexus here, or even bring your hands to the outsides of your ribs, so that as you inhale now, breathing deep into your core, your solar plexus, your inner sunlight, that sacred space where we hold the sacred contract with ourselves. And that's the self with the capital S, your higher self, not just necessarily your egoistic desires and attachments. When we breathe and connect to the solar plexus, we are governed and driven by our higher self, our higher calling. And so we'll breathe some light, some inner sunlight into your solar plexus. You might feel that expansion across the side ribs, and then as you exhale, releasing, deflating. Breathe in, expanding laterally across the ribs. Exhale, deflate. The rib cage, it's almost like an accordion, expanding as we inhale and exhaling fully. And maybe you can feel that breath rise and expand 360 degrees around the body, front, side, back of ribs. Exhale fully. One more. And then feel free to bring one hand back to your heart, one hand to your low belly. Move your awareness now to the third piece of Dirga breath, three-part breath. Inhaling into the heart space. Exhale, letting go. As you inhale, direct the breath and your awareness of the breath across the chest. Exhale thoroughly. You might also feel that subtle lift under your collarbones as you inhale. Exhale, navel pulls back toward the spine. Breathe in, fill up, breathe out, let go. Now we'll thread these three components together. On your next inhale, imagine the breath traveling deep down into the bottom of the lungs, a little softness in the belly as the breath continues to rise all the way up across solar plexus and heart. Inhale, and then exhale like a wave from top to bottom, releasing. Inhale, a little softness in the belly, expanding across side ribs, all the way up into collarbones. Exhaling, pulling the navel back even more toward the spine. Inhale, softness, spaciousness. As you continue to breathe up, the navel will start to hug back toward the spine, breathing into the buoys of the upper lungs, exhaling completely. Breathing in and breathing out. Inhale like a wave across your belly, your solar plexus, your heart. Exhale completely. You can relax your arms down, letting your palms rotate upward. Dirga breath. We'll add some breath retentions now to this practice. Just holding the breath at the top and bottom of each inhalation and exhalation for a count of 3. So let's start with a sigh. Inhale together, filling all the way up. Take an extra sip of air at the top of your lungs, and then just exhale with a big sigh. Let it go. You guys know I find sighing to be very therapeutic, and it's free. And then on your next inhale, drink in that breath from the bottom of the lungs all the way up across your heart. Hold at the top of the breath now for 3, 2, 1. Exhale slowly and consciously, emptying out. Now at the bottom of the breath, hold empty for 3, 2, 1. Inhale with control, gently. Expanding, filling up all the way to the collarbones. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Exhale fully. Letting go. Hold at the bottom. 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Breathe into that fullness at the top. Hold for 3 or perhaps holding longer. Exhaling, melting, emptying. Hold at the bottom. 3, 2, 1. A few more rounds at your own pace. Inhale, expanding, filling all the way up. Hold at the top. Exhale, hold at the bottom. Resting in these interstitial spaces between breaths. Hovering in fullness and in emptiness. A thought might emerge, a desire to release the technique might emerge. That's okay, let it be there. And then drop back into the technique. Return to the breath. Return to the count. A few more rounds. One more round. And then let's all take another deep breath in together, filling all the way up into the collarbones. Exhale with a big sigh. You could gently open your eyes for a moment. Just enjoy a little stretch. Maybe rotate the shoulders around. Take it slow. Just notice any impressions of those breathing techniques. Maybe extend out a leg or both legs. Oh, you're welcome. I'm so glad. Great. So let's bring the legs back. And if you were sitting cross-legged, now you can switch the legs. So whichever one was in front, now let's bring the other leg in front. Yeah. So we'll go back into another round of pranayama, of breath work, and then we'll add in our metta meditation, our loving kindness meditation. And again, these techniques are here to help us get out of that ego attached state of being and into a space that recognizes that it's not just all about us, that we are more deeply connected and deeply interwoven with all life on this planet, right? Not even just our own community, but the whole world. So we're starting to realize this more than ever. And I know many of you, because you are watching this, because you're here participating with me in this beautiful meditation, I know you guys already knew this before the pandemic, but now the pandemic has revealed this to us in a way that we really can't ignore, how deeply enmeshed we are with one another, how deeply we really belong to each other. And I love how David Whyte talks about belonging so much, and how courage is recognizing your own belonging, that you belong to yourself, but we also belong to each other, and we belong to the needs of our heart. The ego is not inherently bad or wrong, but the ego will get us all caught up, all sorts of caught up in attachments and trying to control and trying to make the unknowable known, when really we've never had control. We've never truly been able to control what was going to happen next week in our lives, despite all our carefully laid plans. We never actually knew anything for certain. These were illusions, but we were under this spell, the spell of illusion. And now it has become, again, completely undeniable that we really don't know. We have to lean into the mystery. We have to lean into the unknown, because what other options do we really have? We could fight it. We could resist it. We could argue with it, but that's not going to change anything, nor is it really going to help us. So this is why my teacher, Manasa, who I know many of you guys know, Manasa Kanithi from the Lotus Pond, she's exceptional. She said recently in one of our yoga teacher training sessions, this is why when we see the Hindu deities, you know, like the Hindu goddesses, Durga or Kali, they're not holding puppies. They're holding swords, and they're using those swords to cut through to the truth. They're cutting through your illusions. They're cutting through your attachments. They're cutting through the ways in which we get ourselves all caught up and get in our own way, so that we can arrive at the deeper truth, so that we can access freedom, real freedom, freedom from the prison of our thoughts and our compulsions and our addictive behaviors, freedom to move out of the head and into the heart. And it doesn't mean that it's easy. It's often not the easiest thing, but it is perhaps the most rewarding thing, right? So with that, let's dive back in, my friends. Getting comfortable once again, sitting up tall. Connect to your breath, to the wave of life force energy that rides in and out of your body. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. And let's bring the awareness now into your heart. Imagine or feel the breath rise and fall across the heart space. A gentle expansion with each inhale, a gentle softness with every exhale. You can imagine a light emanating from your heart. Maybe you picture this as a candle flame or an orb of light. Maybe it has a particular color. Or maybe you just simply know that your heart contains this deep power. Breathe into your heart. As you start to imagine that light glowing and growing a little brighter with every breath you take, let it fill you up as if it could fill up every cell of your body. A drop of this light in every cell. This luminous vitality lighting you up from the inside out like stars against a night sky. Every cell lit and alive with prana, that life force energy, with ojas, the nectar of immunity, nourishment, inner support. Every cell lit and alive with tejas, with radiance. And let that light continue to glow and grow and emanate a little bit brighter, expanding all the way around your body, around the seeming barrier of your body, until the boundary of yourself is encased in glow, in this cocoon of light. Breathing in, breathing out, until you are wrapped in this light of compassion and courage. As we move into our first round of metta, just mentally reciting these lines of loving kindness, we begin with the self. You can direct this loving kindness to your own heart. repeating mentally after me. May I be happy. May my good fortune increase. May I be safe. May I be at ease. Breathe into your heart. Breathe into this light. Let it start to illuminate a little brighter around your body, expanding and extending outward, filling up the room that you're in right now, moving beyond the walls of the room. This light transcends matter, expanding outward. As you now imagine a loved one, picture their face, the details of their face, and imagine them smiling, receiving this love, this loving kindness from you, from your heart to theirs. You can repeat after me. May you be happy. May your good fortune increase. May you be safe. May you be at ease. The breath rises and falls. Now call to mind someone you don't really know. Maybe just an acquaintance, maybe the person who was your cashier at the grocery store. Just call this acquaintance to mind. Someone you maybe used to see occasionally. Imagine them smiling, receiving this loving kindness from you. May you be happy. May your good fortune increase. May you be safe. May you be at ease. Let's take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale with a big sigh through the mouth. Now calling to mind someone you don't like, someone who challenges you, whether you know them personally or not. You can call them to mind and breathe into that light within you. Maybe not your worst sworn enemy, just someone who challenges you, who agitates you. May you be happy. May your good fortune increase. May you be safe. May you be at ease. The breath rises and falls. Breathe into this light. Breathe into your heart. And let's imagine that light rippling outward, expanding outward even more now, connecting to everyone and everything, as if that light could wrap around the entire globe. The earth herself encompassed in this beautiful, radiant light, the light of your heart. May all beings everywhere be happy. May all beings experience good fortune. May all beings be safe. May all beings be at ease. And now, focusing that light and your awareness back, beaming back, harness your energy back to your heart center. It's almost like a conveyor belt of prana pulling back to your heart. Breathe into that light now, concentrated back at your heart. As we send one last round of metta, loving kindness for yourself. May I be happy. May my good fortune increase. May I be safe. May I be at ease. You can bring one hand directly over your heart, bring the other hand right on top. Really breathe into your heart here. Send yourself some appreciation for making this time for yourself to connect inward. These practices are not about escaping the world. They're about more fully engaging with the world, out of the head and into the heart. Breathe in deeply with me through the nose, exhale with a sigh. And slowly, you can relax and stretch a little bit. If the eyes have been closed, you can slowly open them once again. Maybe rotate the shoulders around, maybe extend out the legs a little bit here. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for being here. It's so great to get that sense of community and connection with all of you who are joining here, or for those of you who are watching this after we have recorded this live. It doesn't matter. Your energy is still felt, and we're still connecting. We're still sharing. And I will be doing these meditations via Zoom at least once a week, because why not? I find that it's so nourishing and so helpful for us to practice together, to still be able to join together in these wonderful ways as much as we can, to remember that we're not alone. Oh, thank you, everyone. Oh my gosh, these comments are so heartwarming. Yay, I'm so glad that this was nourishing and helpful for you too. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I just so appreciate you all. Thank you. Well, you guys are so awesome. Thank you. Let's ohm it out. You know, I'll unmute some of you, or if you would like to be unmuted, you can unmute yourself in your chat box if you wish, to let your own be heard. If not, don't worry about it. You don't have to do that at all. But let's seal it in with some ohms, shall we? And we got an ohm for Terry. It was her birthday yesterday. So yeah, 72 ohms. No, we'll just, we'll do 3 ohms. The first one will be silent. The first one will be just for you, just in your own interior, like reverberating like a singing bell within yourself. The silent Om for you. The second Om, we'll Om for Terry. We got to Om for Terry. So you're welcome. And for each other, for all those on this call today and all those who are watching this after the fact, Oming for each other, for this virtual Sangha. And then the third Om will also be out loud for everyone, for all beings everywhere, rippling that metta outward. So yeah. So feel free to join me if you wish. Hands together at your heart. Anjali Mudra, the heart seal, sealing it in at the heart space. Let's take that first silent Om for yourself. Deep breath in. And then our second Om out loud for Terry, for each other. Big breath. One more for all beings everywhere. Deep breath in. Thank you all so much. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Fee. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Tiffany. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. I so appreciate you all. Thank you for being here. And I hope to share and practice with you very soon, very soon.